Pope Francis was a normal boy just like I am. What makes him a great person? I believe that Pope Francis is a great man that made history. One, Pope Francis had to find out who he was as a child. Two, I believe that he believes in helping the poor and he promotes peace. Three, he has proven that he can lead. And four, he makes the most out of what he has. First main point. Pope Francis had to find himself as a child. According to Mary O'Regan from Crossroads International, which is a Christian website, he had a modest living. He grew up in a family that had emigrated from Italy, and he grew up in sort of like the lower class in Argentina. And he had the vocation to he found his vocation to become a priest when he was 21 years old. He had also suffered a lung infection in his early 20s, and that lung infection was very life-threatening, and at the time he had to cut off a portion of his right lung just to survive. Finally, in December of 1969, he became a priest just a few days before he turned 33. According to biographies.com, which is just a normal website about biographies from famous people, he had pursued a career to become a chemistry major. He actually earned his master's degree in chemistry. He lived a normal life just like anybody in their teenage years. He was a bouncer at a nightclub, he had many friends, he had a girlfriend, and he liked to go dancing and drinking and have fun and work a normal job just like most people these days. His dad was a factory worker, and he tried to just accustom his life to what the normal was in that area. And he had to leave his old life in order to become a priest. So, in review of my first main point, proves that Pope Francis didn't just have it easy when he was growing up. He had to suffer through many struggles to get to where he is. And he also cares for those in need. My second main point, Pope Francis does a lot for people in need. In a quote from Pope Francis, to love God is not something abstract, but profoundly concrete. It means seeing every person and face of the Lord to be served, and you are the face of Jesus. Meaning that everybody here, we are all made in the likeness of Christ, meaning that we should all serve each other, and no man or woman is greater or lesser than each other. In an example from BlueNationReview.com, which is a partisan website, he auctioned off his luxuries, and he actually donated them to the poor. And it was kind of interesting. He had a Harley Davidson that he auctioned off, and he donated that money to the poor, and it ended up selling for $68,000. He actually ordered 400 sleeping bags on his birthday to be dispersed around Rome to the homeless people there. And they had the stitching of the seal of the Vatican on the inside of it. So in review of my second main point, Pope Francis is very committed to serving the poor. And I also believe that he is a leader. My third main point, Pope Francis has shown that he could be a good leader. According to in an article from the 2013 in World Affairs, he inherited a lot of problems coming into his position. He had to take all these problems head on, and the only way that he could do that was with his strong will and his humble personality. And I believe that with these things, he was able to overcome the obstacles that he came in with. A couple of those obstacles were the issues with the pedophile priest, as well as priests living lavish lifestyles and promoting basically hypocrisy. And according to an article from Inc.com, which is sort of reviews business websites, 88% approval of Americans, or Catholic Americans anyway, they have an 88% approval rating of Pope Francis. There are 8 reasons why that are listed on this website. And some of those reasons are that he leads by example, he gets in the field, and he reinvents the program, doesn't just change it. And in review of my third main point, he's a successful leader, but he also makes the most with what he has. Fourth main point, Pope Francis makes the most out of what he has. According to Roland Fognini from that 2013 article in World Affairs, he was the first Pope of the Americas. Like I was telling you before, he had to deal with the scandals and the controversy. He had to regain the positive outlook in the Catholic Church after it had been tarnished from those scandals. The only way he could do that was with a positive attitude. He actually demoted the bishop because he was living a lavish lifestyle. And because of that, he didn't actually demote him and criticize him in public. He just kind of did it so that he could save the humility of that pope. And according to Fresh Air Philadelphia, which is a radio news source that actually broadcasts nationwide, James Carroll was brought on the show, and one of the things that he said in regards to, well, what Pope Francis said in regards to gay marriage and gay rights was, "Who am I to judge?" Homosexuality is something that he believes that maybe we should accept these people. He wants to bring all the people of the church together. He doesn't just want to exclude everybody. And so in review of my fourth main point, Pope Francis really does try to make the most out of the situation that he is handed. And so, just kind of reviewing all my main points here, he started off small. He grew as a person, and he was very humble and committed all the way through. He tries to bring everybody in, not just Catholics, and he has shown that he has very good leadership skills. So I do believe that Pope Francis is a great man that has made history. And in review of my main points, number one was Pope Francis had to find himself as a child. And number two, he did everything he could for those in need. Number three, he has shown that he can be looked up to as a leader. And number four, he has made the most out of what he has been given.